You know, we have an unprecedented challenge in our community. What used to be enough, we used to be able to educate some of our students. But now the new challenge is we have to be ready to educate all of our students. And so I'm going to talk a lot about readiness today. College and career readiness, and some of the things our system and our community needs to be ready to do to achieve those goals. Now, previously, last year, I talked a little bit about Edmonton's 20-mile march, and that we needed to make a little bit of progress every year towards our goal of making sure all of our students are college and career ready. That we couldn't do it all at once, that we had to do it 20 miles at a time. And we're focused on some key benchmarks that I want to touch on again this year to remind everybody how we're doing. Literacy and numeracy. We want all of our students to have a 20 on the ACT. We're not there yet. We're very flat in our progress in those areas, and there's certainly some room for improvement. But that is the standard that allows students to not have to take remedial coursework, and they can go on to any kind of a training program or college program. College and career readiness, we have some exciting news in that front, and certainly attainment as well. We're excited to share some of the things. One of the things that really jumped out at me is attendance. And there's kind of a funny story associated with our attendance increase, because our attendance went up 2%, and we're at the state average now, which is an exciting place to be. We want to be better than the state average. But when we turned our attendance number in this year, this will be about $1 million benefit to the district, and they made us double check our numbers because they thought there was something wrong. So, well, that can't be right. So 2% increase, and I think that speaks to some of the increased engagement we're seeing. We also have 2 consecutive 2% increases in graduation over the last 2 years, and I think that speaks to the work of our staff and our community. When we talk about students being college and career ready, and college readiness, we're making some real exciting strides with our advanced placement program. We've had dramatic increases in tests taken, tests passed, and our enrollment totals. We've nearly tripled enrollment totals in the last 5 years. So that means more and more of our students are experiencing our most rigorous courses, and that's something we're really, really proud of. And we're also proud to point out that all students are sharing in those increases. We've nearly doubled the number of African American and Latino test takers, so that's something we're very proud of and excited to see that progress. Manufacturing Fast Track is an exciting example of career readiness and how those lines are starting to blur. It's a great partnership with Rock Valley College. And I'm proud to basically just say thank you to President Mike Mastriani, who's really, really led this way. So Mike, can you stand to be recognized? This Manufacturing Fast Track program started off with about 8 or 10 students that took a 10-week summer training course at Rock Valley. It was funded by the Century Club, some private donations, and it's grown now to 24 students in the 3rd year. And of those 24 students, 22 of them got jobs at the end of the summer with local manufacturing companies. So Mike, thank you, and thank you to Rock Valley College. We're so appreciative for our local companies for hiring those students, and 10 weeks of training, and they're really meeting a need in the community. Now, with some of these successes and certainly some of the challenges in terms of what we want to do with student achievement, we have to become more efficient. There are financial realities that we're dealing with as a community, and we all know we'd like our property values to be higher. We've been dealing with decline in property value since 2007, and that leads to significant challenges. Now, one of the things I really want our board to be recognized about, and we have 3 board members here, we are currently, as a school district, collecting what we collected in 2007. About $15 million less in local property taxes, and our board deserves credit for that. So I'd like our board to be recognized for that. Thank you. Also like to give a quick recognition to our CFO, Mr. Cedric Lewis, and also our board on this. We are entering our 4th year of state financial recognition. So while we know that the times are going to continue to be challenging financially, we're making a dollar stretch farther, and I want to talk about some of the things we're doing to do that. One of the things, this is not something I would have known, but 25% of our natural gas bill, and it's a pretty big natural gas bill, come from East, West, and Lincoln. Well, we put some new windows on at East, and we got scheduled for Lincoln and West coming up. But last winter, which was not a really nice winter, we had an 18% reduction in our natural gas bill just because of those new windows at East. So those are dollars that are not going to our natural gas bill, but are going into the classroom. So that type of efficiency is important. We're also spending a lot less money getting kids to school, and that's really important. In 2011, under the choice model for schools, we had nearly 250 buses on the streets. About 22,000 students were bused. We've now dropped that with neighborhood schools almost fully implemented to 218 buses. And with our new facilities plan, we project that that number is going to drop below 190 buses, a 50 bus decrease. So that is something we're really excited about. And finally, we've got to get leaner as a district office. We're going to be focused on customer service, quality, and efficiency so that resources end up in the classroom, not in the district office. Now, one of the things that was immediately apparent when I had a chance to be part of this as a lifelong community resident was the need to improve our facilities. Now, I needed to be reminded a little bit of Sergeant York, who's a World War I veteran, and what Sergeant York said is, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. And I have a tendency to want to get things done very quickly. And there was a real urgency to improve the quality of our buildings, but what I've learned in my time in the district is whether it was our Better Schools, Brighter Future campaign, which resounded in a 65-35 victory in 2012, whether it was our facilities task force, where we had over 100 community meetings and spent a lot of time engaging our community in a very detailed year-long process to determine what our best facilities plan is going to be. Smooth and slow is better than fast, because we have to make sure we talk to stakeholders and community members along the way. So I'm really proud of where our facilities plan is. We've got some pretty exciting things to talk about. Now, we did say slow and smooth, but we did jump ahead and do about $85 million of construction. And I want to spend a little time talking about some of the big wins that I see in place. Now, I know you hire a former high school basketball coach, and the first slide is going to be a field house. We are very proud of the investments we're making at Guilford, Jefferson, Auburn, and East on their athletic spaces. You can see this is an actual picture from inside Auburn now. We have 4 full courts, 200-meter track. We're going to be able to host indoor track meets, physical education classes, no more 9 o'clock practices for everybody. It's really exciting. But here's the other part of the story that people don't know about. This is the Guilford wrestling room that's just been converted. This is the Auburn High School dance studio that's been converted. See, we didn't just build athletic facilities. We built world-class athletic facilities, and we converted really bad athletic facilities into world-class classrooms. That's an exciting use of your tax dollars and something I'm really proud of. We've also made a really significant investment in all of our school libraries. We saw it with ShareFest at Jefferson and Roosevelt. We're seeing it at Guilford. These libraries are representing what students need in the future for a library. They're not just a place to house books anymore. They're comfortable places to experience learning and reading in different ways. You can see the East High School library it's in an earlier stage of construction, but we've gutted that. We're expanding it. We're adding room on both sides to it for those of you who are familiar with that building. We've also spent a lot of money on paving. Maybe you've seen the Eisenhower paving project or some of your local elementary schools. East High School, we're dramatically changing the way you enter that building. We're spending a lot of money on all of our auditoriums. This is an example of the Jefferson Auditorium that's being totally gutted. We're improving music classrooms, elementary art rooms. Adding on, we've done 6 additions to our elementary schools, and we've got a lot more where that came from. And yes, once and for all, we are ridding Rockford of the dreaded gym cafetorium. Because they will have 2 separate spaces, and I know our elementary students and staff are going to be very excited about that. And finally, I have to point out, we're improving all of our cafeterias, but I have to point out this specific one, the Auburn cafeteria, because I had a student who's one of my neighbors come up to me and said, Dr. Jarrett, the Auburn cafeteria looks just like the one on High School Musical. Now, I've got an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I want to remind everybody that our work isn't all the way done. I want to make sure everyone's engaged and informed as we move forward into November with another decision about whether or not we're going to build elementary schools. I hope everyone stays informed of that process. And I want to thank and recognize anybody that's in here that's part of the Better Schools, Brighter Future group. We really appreciate your advocacy. So let's give them a round of applause. Buildings are one thing, but student success is where it's all about. And when you look at Visualize 2015 and the Readiness Rocks, I'm really proud of some of the things that we've accomplished. But one of the things I've learned the hard way after a year as the superintendent is we were trying probably to do a little bit too much too fast. We had about 63 initiatives when we added them all up. We had 4 different versions of our strategic plan and nearly 200 reports we were trying to give to our board. And when you have 63 priorities, you really don't have any. So that's an area we really are trying to improve moving forward. Kind of reminded of my old high school English days. I used to teach the novel Animal Farm every year. And one of my favorite characters was Boxer the horse. And Boxer's response to any new challenge was to get up earlier and work harder. And sometimes I think we can all relate to that, of wanting things so badly to improve our schools and to improve our community that we can be a little bit like Boxer the horse. The problem with Boxer the horse is he ended up in the glue factory. So we have to avoid the glue factory. And so as we move into our new planning process, Readiness 2020, we're not only going to be setting a new strategic vision for the district in line with some of the great work that we're doing with Transform Rockford and other community entities, but we're going to have a stop doing list as well. We're going to make sure we have just the highest priorities moving forward so that we can focus on executing and delivering on the promises that we've made. Some wins that have come out of this are pretty exciting. We had the governor come by to recognize our early childhood, where we've increased enrollment by about 600 students. With the pre-K Gold Circle of Quality, we were recognized basically as one of the best early childhood programs in the state. So that was exciting. And the best is yet to come with early childhood, because with our facilities plan, we're moving to 4 quadrant-based early childhood centers that are going to, now instead of having 10 sites serve early childhood, they're all going to be in specialized buildings for early childhood, and we're going to be able to have providers outside of the school district that can be more than just the 3 hours of academic instruction that the students receive. I think we're going to do great things for students, and as I pointed out before, 93% of our students that read at a 3rd grade level in 3rd grade go on to stay above grade level at our system. It's essential that we continue to invest in early childhood. I'm also really proud of the work we did on that facilities plan. As I mentioned, we're going to be investing about $100 million altogether in our elementary schools. Potentially 2 new schools, additions, renovations. This is going to be a huge investment in our children. And those early elementary students are so crucial to what we're trying to accomplish in terms of making sure our students are ready. Here's an example of an elementary STEM classroom that we've already put in place. We want to expose our students to science, technology, engineering, and manufacturing. Students learn in different ways, and we need to meet those students where they are. Middle school always gets forgotten, excuse me. And in this case, we're not forgetting middle school. And in fact, we're collaborating with the REA, who's doing a wonderful job on this project, in 5 areas. And you can notice that target, that's the Schools to Watch framework. And what we're trying to do with the Schools to Watch framework is, just like we've hooked our high schools to a national model of excellence, we believe our middle schools are going to get there because it's all interconnected. Great early childhood experiences, great elementary school, and great middle schools will lead to an awesome experience for our students. And we're already seeing some great results with middle school in terms of the fine arts. With the board's investment in a 7-period academic day, we've tripled the number of students in middle school orchestra, and we have more than 100 students in our band programs. That's an exciting increase. Now, this is a very appropriate crowd to talk about how excited I am about our high school academies. The plan that I was against before I was for, or something like that. We're really, really proud of the work we're doing, and it's been really a 5-year journey, but 4 years of implementation to get to the point now where all of our students are in what we call wall-to-wall high school academies. It's been an incredible journey, and we now have 7,500 students and 500 staff that are fully engaged in this model. Now, some of the exciting things that are happening along the way, the Academy Expo. And we couldn't be in the situation we are with the Academy Expo if it weren't for so many of the people in this room that work hard to make it happen. The Academy Expo is going to have over 700 volunteers, 140 careers represented, and we've expanded to include Belvedere School District as well, which we're excited about. And that brings with Chrysler and a number of other companies from Boone County that are going to be part of the experience for our students as well. So we're excited about the Academy Expo. And we're also doing something really well in terms of getting students and teachers real-life experiences. And our teachers are doing what we call externships. We had 250 of our teachers that spent, whether it was a day or up to a week, in local companies, and we had 67 local companies offer that opportunity to our teachers. We only had enough opportunities for 33 of the companies to be selected. So it's great that our business community has stepped up in such a huge way. And anytime you can take the real world and bring it into the classroom, I believe great things happen. We're also really proud of some of the work we're doing with new pathways for students. I mentioned that manufacturing fast-track partnership with Rock Valley. I also am really proud of our partnership with University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Students are actually taking a CSI class this year with a Rockford Police Department representative that's teaching the course, that's an adjunct professor. Students will have a 3-year pathway there. We're also have fully developed the Embry-Riddle Aeronautics program. We're only one of 2 districts in the state that has an aeronautics program. So we're really excited about the high school pathways program and those efforts. And we're also really proud of our local partnerships with Rockford University, Rock Valley College, and others that have really solidified our student experience. Now, here's the big picture. There are 16 communities in the country that Ford Motor Company has recognized as next generation learning communities, and we're going to make that public announcement in about 2 weeks that we're one of those 16. We're in that position because of the hard work of people like Alignment Rockford and the people that make up that organization. We're in that because of great work with our staff, and so many of you that volunteered to make this Academy Expo what it is are helping to develop these pathways. They're serving on the college and career readiness councils. Literally, it's taken hundreds and thousands of volunteers to get us to this point, but we're not going to stop there. I believe in our target for 2017 is to be the 3rd model community in the Ford NGL network. And what that means is, I never thought I would see this day, but I really believe we're going to have bus loads of people coming to our community to check our high schools out. We're going to have people, actual educational tourists, to see what's going on here at Rockford. So we're going to need to make sure all of our hotels are ready to go, because we're going to have plenty of need and plenty of demand when we get to that point. And that brings me to the final area I really want to emphasize is none of this can be done unless we're ready to collaborate. David Marquette is the captain of the USS Santa Fe, and when he took over the USS Santa Fe, it's a nuclear submarine, and it was the lowest ranked nuclear submarine. Now here's the problem with that. I don't think anybody wants to be on the lowest ranked nuclear submarine. There's a lot of things you can come in last and have some dignity, but that's not a safe place to be in last place. Now, what he noticed right away was he went and talked to all 135 of the people that were on that submarine, and he found that about 5 of the 135 were really fully engaged. It was very much a hierarchical structure, and people were afraid to lead and take risks. So what Captain Marquette learned real quickly is we have to reject the leader-follower model. We have to pull leadership out of everybody to get great things to happen on a nuclear submarine, and that's certainly true of Rockford. And when we look at what we're trying to do in our school system, it starts not only with community partnerships, but with our partnership with our partners at the Rockford Education Association, the REA. We are currently working with the REA in 4 very important strategic initiatives. I mentioned middle school already, but I want to highlight the importance of building trust with the REA and understanding that we have each other's best interests at heart. And what we're working on is something that is unprecedented. We hear all about sometimes bad teachers and teachers' unions defending poor teachers. That's not the way it is in our community anymore. The REA is working arm in arm with our leadership team to share leadership and to improve professionalism in all of our classrooms through the peer-assisted review model. We're in the process of developing that, and I believe it'll be in place for next year. And what that means is struggling teachers will get support, and if struggling teachers are unable to succeed with that extra support from an actual REA teacher that's providing the support, the REA will be recommending that that person not be in the classroom anymore. Now, I want to recognize Dawn Raneth and Paul Goddard, our president and vice president of the RA, because under their leadership, we're doing things with sharing leadership that I didn't think was possible. Can you stand and be recognized, Paul? We have to share leadership, and we also have to share leadership with the community. We can't be like that submarine with 5 of 135 sailors engaged. As a community, we all have to be engaged, and you're stepping up in a huge way. To date, last year, we had over 3,000 volunteers in the public schools with over $1 million value for volunteer hours. And just to give you an example of what some of that looked like, another year of ShareFest where we improved Roosevelt, the Lowe's Heroes at Flynn, Raise a Reader, Raise a Leader. We have literally thousands of people that are reading to young students, and that's so important. The STEM Summit at Rock Valley College, career readiness visits throughout the community. We have all kinds of volunteers helping our elementary students go to what we call an instrument petting zoo. So they're getting the opportunity to try out instruments. Hey, you don't build an orchestra and band program in high school. You have to start early. You have to build that interest. We have community members that are working hard to make that happen. And all kinds of community action around students that need extra help for school supplies. Just countless organizations that have stepped up to help clean their neighborhood school up or to bring books or school supplies. I am so proud and honored to be the superintendent of a community that's as generous as this one is. Now, we've done some great things, but I just found out a little over a month ago that the game has raised a little bit. We've got a group called Transform Rockford that says we want our schools to be the pride of our community, want it to be nationally recognized for quality, making a little progress on that one. Highly valued, dynamic, with accessible pathways for all of our students. That's a very bold vision, but it's an important vision. It's something we need to aspire to. And remember, the days of some students getting over that bar, those days are over. We have to get all students ready for college and career. All of our students need to be celebrating at the end of not only their high school graduation, but whether it's a college or a training program, all of our students need to be celebrating their post-secondary education. I think about what we could accomplish if we had all 4,000 employees, the hundreds of thousands of people in our region focused on the readiness of our students. And I get really excited about that vision. And I look around the room, and I believe that we are ready. Thank you.